Hello everyone, welcome to Deaf Mute Studio. I am joined by Garreth Shania Twain Isn't a Person, It's a Way of Life Gibson. We are on day 23 of Halloween. We are recommending one film per day each. So Gib, what is your recommendation for today?
Yeah, my recommendation for today is Candyman.
Excellent.
Which from 1992. Yeah, absolute classic. One of my favorite horror movies in general. It just made iconic from Tony Todd's performance. Really great kind of a nice, I wouldn't even say a slow build, but it's just got a nice build up, to all the sort of madness that ensues in it. It's just been one of those from my childhood. I was luckily I was allowed to watch these type of films when I was a kid, and I think I remember watching it for the first time on like Sky Movies when it was first on. It's just one. I just think it's got a really good rewatchable factor to it. I love that Candyman's not. I don't even think he's even really in it that much, to be honest. I'd say probably he's only in maybe about 5 or 6 scenes. But Tony Todd is just so memorable in it, like that voice. And as I say, it's a rare of I'd still call it a slasher film. It's probably a bit more to it than it just being a straight slasher film, but that you've got like quite a well-regarded character actor playing, a horror slasher villain. I mean, you could argue Robert Englund did have quite a bit of experience, as a character actor before he played Freddy. He was in a lot more smaller parts, but in a lot of films and stuff. But Tony Todd is, he was pretty renowned actor in his own right at that point, and been in some really good films as well. Really good performance by Virginia Madsen as well, who I think is usually quite underrated in terms of performance of that film. Philip Glass's score all the way through. The piano score's just, again, iconic and just one that, always sticks in your head. It's just a really good film. It really stands out from, a lot of the crap that was kind of made in the 90s horror-wise, to be honest. This one does kind of, it is, really up there, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time a few years back.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And I was surprised at the kind of film it was. I was expecting just a general slasher film, but it's like you said, it's got more going on than that, and it's made in quite a classy way. I mean, like Philip Glass's score is. I'd never expect a Philip Glass score to be in a slasher film. Although, I mean, to call it a slasher film, I think there needs to be an asterisk. By it, because it's
totally.
And like you said, he's not even in it that much, the Candyman.
And as I say, it's a lovely slow build, and you sort of, it doesn't dump, all his, loads of exposition and stuff about it, but you do hit, you are at that point kind of aware of this Candyman lore, and it just great. And then when it builds up to that scene where you see him in the car park, and he's just saying those Shakespearean kind of sort of lines, it's quite hypnotizing, and apparently, so the scene of that, apparently Virginia Madsen actually was hypnotized. She was hypnotized. So there was it must have been a hypnotist on set that, so if you kind of look at the way she's kind of looking at him, and she's like she's gone, but apparently she was. It's just it's great, and I feel like it's definitely paved the way for some of the films that that we have now. You know, like films of Jordan Peele, and you know, horror with, you know, socially, you know, sort of a lot of with, you know, some social issues and awareness in them. Or like the you know, the recent Candyman that came out last year, which I thought was really, really good. It got kind of a bit of a mixed reaction, but I thought it was great.
You see, with the newer one, I had no idea it was a sequel. I thought it was a remake.
Same.
So I was very confused about what was going on and the lore, and I was like, oh, I should have watched the first one before this. Like, I would have enjoyed it a lot more, I think. But like, as far as I could tell, really good sequel. But I was just, because I'd not seen the first one in a while. I was very lost at certain points.
I feel like the way that they advertised it, they didn't advertise it as a sequel. Like there was no indication that it was a direct sequel, only unless you were an uber fan of this film and you recognized, so the woman in the first one, you know, the one whose baby goes missing, is obviously the baby. You know, in the sequel, spoiler, the baby is the main character in the new one. And the mum is played by the same woman, who looks like she hasn't aged a fucking day, by the way. So unless you kind of maybe cottoned on that it was her, but then that could have just been like a bit of a cool insider reference or something just happened there in it. But yeah, I totally thought it was just going to be a remake as well. So I thought it was really handled really well. I wish it had been a bit longer. I wish the final act would have been a little bit longer. I feel like it could have maybe could have had an extra like 15 minutes or so on it, which is something I don't normally complain about movies these days. But
I mean, the final act is the bit that I was very confused at, because I was doubting, like, do I know the lore? Is this part of the first one? Fuck's sake.
Yeah, but it expanded it quite. I thought it expanded it pretty well. Like there isn't just one Candyman. Candyman is you know, it's as I say, it's a fairy tale that, you know, that people kind of pass on, and it's, you know, it's relevant to a lot of you know, a lot of different wrongdoings to people and stuff. I feel like the original has a little bit more nuance to it in terms of, you know, the message it's trying to get across. I think the new one's a little bit more ham-fisted, but but you've got, I'll always recommend the original, and again, another great film to watch over Halloween.
Oh, 100%. Like I say, I was really taken aback about how good it actually was, because I was expecting just a grimy slasher flick. And it's so much more than that. It is an excellent film. So yeah, absolutely top choice there, Gib. I'm 100% behind that.
Yeah, and as well, one thing I always found pretty fascinating as well, that it's so the original like short story that was that it was based on was written by Clive Barker, who
it was
who ended up directing Hellraiser. But like the original like story and where it was set and stuff was actually based in Liverpool. So So obviously took a very different approach to it. And so, I mean, he was a producer on the film as well. So he, like, you know, it wasn't anything that was wasn't really, you know, wasn't taken off him or anything like that. So, you know, I'm sure it was a decision that he was happy with as well. But I always do find it funny thinking of like if it was a Candyman set in Liverpool. I thought that'd be quite funny, having a Scouse Candyman. Maybe having like Paul Barber or someone playing him.
Oh, get these bees off me.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't think it would have been as I don't think he'd have been as intimidating, to be honest, but yeah, I always laugh at that thought.
Oh, the bees have shat on me traps.
I think I'm gonna be sick. But yeah, that's my pick for today.
Yeah, absolutely belter, mate. Absolutely love it. So for my pick, Gib, I've gone with 1986's The Hitcher.
Oh, nice. Yes, great film.
And again, there's another film that completely took me by surprise. As when I watched it, I was expecting. Actually, no, I'll go back further. It was doing the rounds on Film 4.
Right.
And I only caught a very small bit of it, where I think it's the bit where the Hitcher gets kicked out the car for the first time, and there's that amazing shot of him slowly getting up on the road, and the camera's like panning like towards him and all the way up. And I was just like, that's an amazing shot. That I need to find out when that's on again. So watched it again, and yeah, absolutely incredible film. And I think, in fact, no, I know, it's my favorite Rutger Hauer performance.
Definitely.
Yes. I know people love him in Blade Runner, and rightly so. He brings a lot of gravitas to that role, but his serial killer is one I've never seen before, or never played like that before. Like my theory is that he wants to die.
Yeah.
And he's looking for the right person who's got the balls to kill him, because he can't kill himself. He wants to be stopped.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
And the diner scene where he's speaking to what's his face, Jim Halsey. He's so terrifying, and he's just toying with him, and everything he does is testing Jim Halsey, so that he's like you say, he's trying to find someone that can end his life. Yeah. And I've never seen that before ever, and it's so well shot, it's so well paced.
Yeah, it's one I've watched through, like I'd watched at a very early age, and like it didn't scare me in the sense like I couldn't watch it as a young kid, but it did really, like, the nastiness of it, and it really did, it bothered me, but I was engaged as well, but it did really get under my skin. Yeah, it was. It's just, again, though, it's so enjoyable, but it's so dark as well at the same time, and that's not an easy balance. But I agree as well. It's my favorite Rutger Hauer performance. Actually, no, it's no Blind Fury, but I'm joking. I fucking love that film, by the way. But yeah, it's so massively done. Like just the way it builds the tension, and you just didn't know what was going to happen either. And the thing what bothered me so much, especially watching it as a kid, was the famous scene with Jennifer Jason Leigh when she's strapped to the two vans, and you never see it. And it used to kind of confuse me a bit, but then it used to really, really get under my skin, because you didn't see it, and I used to just kind of picture it in my mind. And it was, and it's the way she's like how she's reacting to it as well, like you would. It used to really bother me. I'd never admit it. Because I lived with two older brothers that used to watch a lot of films, and a little bit of bravado in the house of, what you could be scared of and stuff like that. And basically, I used to get the piss ripped out of me when I was scared of films, when I was even when I was like 6 years old as well. So I used to have to but it was one that we used to watch. We used to watch in our house quite a bit. So I've got a lot of fond memories of that film.
Yeah, and again, I know we talk a lot about DVD releases and whatnot, but the 2-disc DVD release of this is fantastic. If anyone, you can get it on the dirt cheap if you want to look for it. It'll be on eBay or Music Magpie or something like that. I strongly recommend getting that. It's a
great second disc. It's got some really good special features. Yeah. Back in the day when they used to give a shit about special features.
It
feels like it's a bit of a lost art these days.
Very much so. But yeah, it definitely a film worth watching and a DVD edition worth buying.
Great pick.